News Team. This is NBC 29 News at 10.
Right now at 10, the trial of a former University of Virginia student's lawsuit over his bloody arrest by ABC agents gets delayed again. We have the new details. Plus, celebrations in the streets of Paris tonight as voters deliver a crushing defeat to a far-right presidential candidate. But first, tonight, people in Nelson County who are opposed to Dominion's plans to build the Atlantic Coast Pipeline are learning how to fight that project without resorting to violence. NBC 29's Victoria Reslow shows us new at 10. Victoria?
Hi, Matt. Well, a group of people met today to discuss how they can make a difference when it comes to pushing back against that pipeline and how best to use their resources. The direct action and strategy training session was held inside the Rockfish Valley Community Center. A Richmond-based group called No ACP, or No Atlantic Coast Pipeline, led the discussion. It formed in August 2014 in response to Dominion's proposed pipeline. The workshop's goal is to introduce people in different communities to methods and ideas behind nonviolent direct action resistance.
Folks need to be able to confront problems in their own community on their own terms and with their own resources. It's going to be specific to each community depending on what resources they have and what kind of struggle they're facing. Strategies in Nelson might be strategies that are different in Buckingham and Augusta.
The training was organized by the anti-pipeline nonprofit Friends of Nelson. No ACP is planning on doing more workshops like this across the state, and their next one is planned for Virginia Beach, but that date is still being set. Live in the Charlottesville newsroom, Victoria Reslow, NBC 29 News at 10.
Tonight, Charlottesville firefighters now say it could take up to 2 weeks to determine what sparked this blaze that destroyed an Excel Inn & Suites on Emmett Street Thursday. Employees of the hotel were finally able to get out there and survey some of the damage for the very first time today. Owners say the hotel will remain closed indefinitely. The property is valued at more than $1.7 million, and it is likely a total loss. Tonight, Albemarle County Police are looking for a man and a woman who investigators say tried to rob a food truck behind Pro Renata Brewery in Crozet. This happened around 10:30 last night. Police say the would-be robbers used a gun, but they ran off without getting any money. No one is hurt. Detectives are reviewing surveillance video right now to try to identify those suspects. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers. The number's on your screen. It's 434-977-4000.
All right, obviously we're talking about this unseasonably cool air mass in place across the region at the moment, folks. Bit of a chill in the air out here tonight as we look at the current temps on the Weather Bug Network. We've cooled it back to 48 degrees there for Standardsville. We still have several locations east of the Blue Ridge just above 50. McGaheysville at 50 degrees right now. Likely some other spots in the Shenandoah Valley have cooled back into the 40s. Earlier on, there was a bit more in the way of breezes, sometimes gusting over 20, but those winds slowly lightening up for us tonight. Had seen some isolated sprinkles earlier. Still maybe a spot sprinkle possible out there, but that activity coverage area definitely starting to diminish overall, and I think we'll see the skies clearing out with time. Still won't completely rule out that sprinkle early on, but nothing that heavy by any means. Otherwise, 34 to 40 your overnight lows. Could be cold enough in the valley for maybe a little bit of frost there, although we don't have any frost advisories in effect at the moment from the National Weather Service. So we get off to a cold start, but clear skies for your Monday morning. By the lunchtime hour, only at 59 degrees. Mostly sunny overall, but again, talking below normal high temps. 57 in the valley, only 63 generally for folks east of the Blue Ridge. We'll see a little bit of a warm up, but nothing significant as we progress through the week ahead. I'll have those details in a bit with your 7-day forecast. Now we'll send it back to Matt.
Thanks, Clayton. There are new details in a former University of Virginia student's $3 million lawsuit against 2 Virginia alcoholic beverage control agents. A federal judge has granted a request from Martise Johnson's legal team to delay a trial date. Johnson claims civil rights violations when those agents arrested him outside Trinity Irish Pub in March of 2015. The trial, originally scheduled for July, is now set for 2 weeks starting April 2nd, 2018. A federal court in Virginia will hear arguments on Monday in the case against President Trump's revised travel ban targeting 6 Muslim-majority countries. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond will examine a ruling that blocks the president's attempt to ban new visas for people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. In an extraordinary move, the full court will hear the arguments, skipping a 3-judge panel that typically hears those appeals first. The court will also provide a live audio broadcast of the hearing for the very first time in its history. France has elected its youngest president ever. 39-year-old centrist independent Emmanuel Macron defeated far-right candidate Marine Le Pen in a huge margin in today's voting. NBC's Matt Bradley reports now from Paris.
Celebrations tonight at the Louvre Museum amongst the camp of Emmanuel Macron. At 39 years old, he will be the youngest president to enter the Élysée Palace in the coming weeks. After tonight, he trounced far-right candidate Marine Le Pen to the tune of about 65% to 35%.
I also wish to have a word for those who voted today for Ms. Le Pen. Don't boo them. They expressed today an anger, a disappointment, sometimes convictions. I respect them.
Now, this is a massive repudiation of the kind of style of politics that Marine Le Pen was peddling. She was anti-EU, anti-immigration, and in many ways, anti-Islam. Macron, on the other hand, he was very pro-EU, pro-globalization, pro-trade. And his style of politics are what's going to be carrying forward probably into the upcoming legislative elections. Now, those next month are going to decide exactly how the cards fall with French politics going forward. Now, we haven't yet seen exactly how Emmanuel Macron's brand new En Marche party will be able to fare in those legislative elections, but they will determine his political power and whether or not he has to share it. Back to you.
Back here at home as we cover Virginia tonight, a volunteer rescue squad member in Chesterfield County is accused of raping a female colleague. Police arrested 37-year-old Timothy Wilson Saturday night after getting a report that a woman had been raped at the Ettrick-Matoka Volunteer Rescue Squad. Investigators say Wilson and the victim are both volunteers there. Wilson is charged with rape. He is held without bond at Chesterfield County Jail. Tonight, a Georgia truck driver is charged in connection with an accident that killed 2 people on Interstate 81 near Winchester. The crash happened Saturday morning as traffic slowed near mile marker 307 due to an earlier accident. State police say 55-year-old Carl Paris was driving his tractor trailer. He failed to stop in time and rear-ended a Mercedes, causing a chain reaction crash involving 5 vehicles. The driver of that Mercedes and his 12-year-old son died at the scene. Tomorrow night, Waynesboro City Council is expected to vote on just how much more property owners will pay on their tax bills. Councilors are considering 2 options to increase real estate tax rates. A 7-cent increase would help cover the cost of renovating Waynesboro High School. A 9-cent increase would also fund more city services. That would put the tax rate at 89 cents, which adds up to a $180 increase for the owner of a $200,000 home. City Council's meeting starts at 7 o'clock Monday night. Organizers of tonight's Fight Cancer Fest in Charlottesville are counting up donations from that event. The festival in Ix Park raised money and helped spread the word about cancer treatment in Charlottesville. According to the UVA Cancer Center, thousands of people are diagnosed in this region each year. Organizers say the Fight Cancer Fest raised more than $52,000, but they are still adding up final totals. Tonight, children in Central Virginia are equipped with bicycle helmets to prevent brain injury. The University of Virginia Health System's Traumatic Brain Injury and Stroke teams sponsored the 5th annual brain injury event on the downtown mall. UVA gave away free helmets to children to teach them how to reduce their risk of strokes and brain injury.
The earlier that you practice good habits, whether it be healthy eating to prevent stroke or wearing a helmet to prevent brain injury, traumatic brain injury, the earlier you start those behaviors, the more likely you are to continue them throughout your lifespan.
The event also offered blood pressure checks and stroke risk screenings at no cost. In just minutes, fans of the Waltons can live in the Central Virginia home that inspired the classic TV show. Plus, a New Orleans-style parade celebrates that city's decision to tear down its monuments to the Confederacy. Your News at 10 is back in just minutes.